Hello and thank you for watching my video. My name is Astrid Krasniqi. I'm CCNA and CCNP certified instructor. On this video I will do a demonstration on configuring EtherChannel. For this demonstrations I need 3 switches and 2 PCs. 3 switches I'm using a physical switches, layer 3 switch, switch 2, and layer 2 switches, switch 1 and switch 3. 2 virtual machines, PCA and PCC, running on VirtualBox. For this demonstration, objectives is to configure a basic switch settings, and then in part 2 we configure PAgP, and part 3 we configure LACP. Now PAgP is a Cisco proprietary protocol that you can only run on Cisco switches and on switches that are licensed vendors to support PAgP. LACP is a link aggregation protocol that is defined by IEEE 802.13ad and is not associated with any specific vendor. So LACP allows Cisco switches to manage ether channels between switches that conform to the 802.13ad protocol. We can configure up to 16 ports to form a channel. 8 of the ports are in active mode and the other 8 are in standby mode. When any of the active port fails, a standby port becomes active. Standby mode works only on LACP, not on PAgP. So we can configure up to 8 ports to join as a one ether channel link. PAgP does support only 8 channel. It doesn't support any like a backup. But the LACP supports up to 16 ports. So 8 of them will be active and then 8 of them will be as on standby. Okay, so if I go to my access server, I go connection to all my 3 switches. So show session, and that's a switch 1, switch 2 and switch 3. I have resetted all of them, so if I go to switch 1, there shouldn't be anything. I just reloaded and erased everything. Factory reset. So no here, no. And then I will go to my switch 2, no on initial configuration, and switch 3, no on the initial configuration. So as you can see, all 3 of them are factory reset. Okay, so cable and network as shown in the topology, and initialize and reload the switches. Now I have initialized and I have reloaded the switches. For you to be able to see that they are cabled as it's shown in the topology, well, I have to, let me just move this a little bit so we can kind of see the topology as well. Move this port a little bit up. So okay, now I'm going to change the name. So enable config T, and let me just go back to switch 1 first. Enable config T, host name switch 1 SW1, and then go to switch 2. Enable config T, enable config T, host name SW2, and I will go to switch 3, host name SW3. Okay, so to see that they cable correctly, if I go to switch 1 and do show CDP neighbor, okay, first I'm gonna just disable all the ports and I'm gonna enable only the ports that we're gonna need for this lab. So config T, interface range FA01 to 24, G01 to 2, shut down. Okay, so I'm going to do this for every switch. So switch 2, interface range FA01 to 24, G01 to 2, shut them down, and I'll do the same for switch 3. Interface FA01 to 24, and G01 to 2. Let's just try again. Interface range FA01 to 24, G01 to 2. Shut them down. So I'm shutting down all the ports, and I'm going to enable only the ports that we require. If I go to switch 1, exit, and I'm going to enable port 1, 2, 3, and 4. So interface range FA01 to 4, no shut. And I'll do the same for the switch 2. Interface range FA01 to 4, no shut. And I'll do the same for switch 3. interface range FA01 to 4, no show. Okay, so I have shut down all the ports. I just enable the ports that I'm needing for trunking first, and then I'll enable the other ports connected to the PCs. So if I go to switch 1 now and do show CDP neighbor, now you can see the local interface 1 and 2 are connected to switch 2. So 1 and 2 is connected to switch 2. 3 and 4 are connected to switch 3. So 3 and 4 connected to switch 3. I can run the same command on router, so switch 2, show CDP neighbor. Port 3 and 4 is enabled. It's running. But 1 and 2 is not coming anything. Here it is. 1 and 2 is now. This got a CDP message from switch 1. Okay, so if I go to switch 3 and end there, show CDP neighbor. Switch 3 is your connection. 1 and 2 is connected with switch 2, which is that switch, and 3 and 4 is connected with switch 1. Excellent. Next thing we need to do is configure the basic switch settings for each switch and configure the PCs. So for that, to configure the switch settings, I'm going to open the notepad and I'm going to write down all the commands on the notepad. So if I move this a little bit to the left, so we can have some space that I can write down. Okay, that's my notepad there. Okay, so the configuration here is going to be for switch 1 first. Configure the basic settings. Enable secret plus no IP main lookup, service password encryption, and then banner, MOTD, authorized users only, and then hostname SW1, and then the basic settings is for console. So line console 0, password Cisco, login, and login sync. Exact timeout 00. Next I'll go to VLAN 0 to 4, password Cisco, login, and then end, copy running config. I need to do it now line, so copy running config to start up config. Okay, all these commands, if you don't know what they do, so check the CCNA 1, but that will enable the secret password or encrypted password, no IP domain lookup, service password encryption. It's going to encrypt all our passwords, warn unauthorized users not to connect to, and then hostname, and then these are commands for console login and remote login. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to for the other 3 switches. So I'm going to copy this, right click and copy, and go to my switch. So go to switch 1 first, config T, and paste it. Okay. Now, as you can see, there's no any errors, so everything should be working fine. Increase this a little bit more. Here, there's no problems. So I'm going to do the similar configuration for switch 2. So I don't need this. Just type SW2. Highlight, copy, Control-Shift-6 X, move to switch 2, config T, and then paste it there. Okay, go back to my notepad. Configuration for switch 3. Okay, copy, Control-Shift-6 X, session, third session, and then on switch 3 I'll do config T, and I'll paste it there. Okay, so that's a startup configuration, but we need to give an IP address, create the VLANs, and then give an IP address to the correct VLANs, and then we move on to configuring PCs. So we need to create VLANs for each switch. So I'll go to SW1 and I will say VLAN 10 name users. This is for users, and VLAN 99 name management. Okay, this will do it for all switches as well. It's not going to be on the switch 1 only. So all switches, we can just copy and paste this info. Okay. Exit. Okay. Okay, so if I go to switch 1, config T, and then go to switch 2, and the same for switch 3. Okay. Now, can I check the VLANs are created? So do show VLAN brief. Okay, the VLANs are created there. And then for the 2 switches, do show VLAN brief. Okay, and then for the 3rd switch, do show VLAN brief. Okay, so all 3 switches, they have created the VLAN. A VLAN 10 for users and VLAN 99 for the management. Now what I need to do is make sure that these cables are trunking and these cables here connected, or this port is in access port. Right, so I'm going to make a division there a little bit. So this information here is going to be for switch 1. So interface, range, FA01 to 4 will hold every interface on that link. Switch port, mode, trunk. Okay, switch port, trunk, native VLAN 99, because VLAN 99 is for management VLAN. And then go to the interface of that, interface FA06, and then put it on the VLAN 10. So interface FA06, switch port, mode access, and then switch port, access VLAN 10. Okay. Then I need to go to that VLAN 99 interface and give it an IP address. So interface VLAN 99. Then IP address 192.168.99.11, and then /24 mask. And see, that's the IP address. No shutdown. Okay, that's for the switch 1. So we need to do the same. I'll copy this information for switch 2. So this is switch 2 now. Interface 1 to 4, switch 4 mode trunk. So this is 2, yeah? So 1 to 4 trunk. Switch 4 trunk native VLAN 99. Now switch 2 does support ISL as well, so it does require one more command. Switch port, trunk, encapsulation, .1Q. So you need to tell what encapsulation you're using. Since we are using .1Q, we need to tell that. Or it could be ISL. So if I just don't write this command, you will get an error. If I just put this like this, you will get an error. Okay. Native VLAN 99 is fine. Port 6, it doesn't have a port 6, so I can delete this. And then an IP address is 192.168.99.12, so I can change this to 12. Okay. If this information, I'll copy similar information for switch 3 is going to have. So this is switch 3. Interface 1 to 4, the trunking. Native VLAN is 99. Port 18, and switch 3 is port 18, not 6. Port 18, and then we're going to put it on the VLAN 10. We need to do no shutdown on this port, because we did disable it earlier on. So, no shutdown. Okay, so I'm going to copy all this information to my switches. So I'll copy it for switch 1. So open Access Server, go to switch 1, and paste it. Okay, everything, no error, so it's fine. Switch 4 more trunk. Now we're gonna start getting some blocked port because of the VLAN 99 inconsistent native VLAN. But when we do it for the other 2 switches, it'll fix this problem. So right, switch 2, copy, and then paste it to the switch 2, and then go to Notepad, copy the switch 3 information, and paste it to the switch 3. Okay. Now everything is going to work fine. We're going to make sure that everything is working. Check that there is a trunk in there. So if I go to switch 1, show interface trunk, I can see 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, they're all trunking, and they have VLAN 99 as a native VLAN. Okay. We need to configure the PCs. PCA, this will be the IP address, and PCC, this will be the IP address. So PCA and PCC. So I'll go to configure PCA, start, control panel, network and internet, network and sharing, change adapter settings, and then properties of that. The IP address, it was 192.168.10.1. So 192.168.10.1. We don't have a gateway because we are using everything is local. So I can delete the gateway for your day. Okay. Go to this PCC 192.168.10.3, I think it was. If it's fast, the video, you can always pause it, because if I slow down, it will be for hours here, and nobody's got that much patience. Okay, so 192.168.10.3, we can verify it. So go to CMD, IP config, 192.168.10.3. Okay, go to the other PC, CMD, IP config, 192.168.10.1. Okay, that's good. Now if I go to, okay, I can notice here that I got the duplicate address 192.168.99.11 with this IP, with this MAC address. If I go to my notepad, yeah, that's what I thought. Switch 3, I forgot here to change it to 13. Okay, so I'm just gonna highlight everything and copy to switch 3 again. Okay. Done. Now if I go to switch 1 and do show VLAN brief, I got VLAN 10 and FA06 on it. Show spanning tree for VLAN 10. Yeah. VLAN port 6 is forwarded. If you want to, for example, make sure that everything is forwarding really quickly, switch port. Spanning tree port fast. We need to enable it there. Okay, so yeah, let me enable that. So on this interface, the interface is connected to PC. I'll do spanning tree port fast. So it will go. This interface will be switched on immediately. We'll be forwarding it. So config T. There you go. Then you have this warning that says make sure there's no switches connected to it. And then same thing for switch 3. So I'll do spanning tree port fast. Okay, this is for switch 3. Okay. Now if I go back to switch 1, show spanning tree for VLAN 10. Yeah, everything's fine. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna demonstrate to you when they are in different VLANs, and it's not gonna work. When they're on the same VLAN, it will work. So I'm gonna ping from this PC, I'm gonna ping the PCC. So ping 192.168.10.3, just make sure that we can ping it. Absolutely. Right. I'm going to do a continuous ping, so -T in the end. This will ping forever until you stop it. Right. And I'll move this PC to the right here and just minimize this a little bit so we can see it. Right. When I put that port on a different VLAN, they're not going to communicate because they need inter-VLAN routing. So, interface FA06, switch port, access, VLAN 99. Right. As soon as I put it on a different port, the pings will stop working. As soon as I bring it back to port 10, the ping will start working right away again. Right, so bring it to port 10. As you can see right away, we have a reply from the other side. So as long as they are in the same VLAN, they don't need a layer 3 device. But if they are in different VLAN, they're gonna need a layer 3 device. So every time we put it in different VLAN, you need a layer 3 device, you need the default gateway. We did not configure default gateway. Okay. I'm gonna stop tapping, so Control C to stop it. Right, we configured the PCs. So we're gonna configure PAgP on switch 1 and switch 3. Okay, for this we're gonna do it on the command prompt. So if you go to access error, and we're gonna do port 3 and 4, it's gonna be PAgP on switch 1 and switch 3. So I can do it with range again. So exit, interface, range, FA03, 4, and then you need to say channel group. What channel group you're gonna use? See, we have 1 to 6 choices. So say it's channel group 1, and then mode, right? Because here we have to tell, is it a PAgP or LACP? So for PAgP, we have a desirable, so enable PAgP unconditionally. We have an auto, enable PAgP only if a PAgP device is detected. So we have these two modes, desirable, which they want to be a PAgP, or auto. As long as one side is desirable, it will work. If both sides are desirable, the link will be built. If both sides are auto, then the link will not be built. LACP has active and passive. Again, same thing. If both sides are active, great. If one side active, one side passive, great still. If both sides are passive, it's not going to work because they're both waiting for the other side to initiate. And you have the on. If one side is on, the other side has to be on. So enable EtherChannel only. So if this is set on one of the switches, the other switch has to have it. This cannot be mix and match with the other modes. Both sides has to be on. Okay, so we can configure desirable on this side and auto on the switch 3. So switch 1 is going to have a desirable. Desirable. Okay, non-silent feature. Right, so we go to switch 3. So interface range FA01, sorry, 3 and 4. Okay, just gonna make sure that I did put on 3 and 4 already. Yep. Channel group 1 mode, and we said here we have a choice, but we don't want desirable. We put a desirable in there, so we're gonna put auto. Okay. Now, to verify that everything is working, show EtherChannel summary. Okay, so I'm going to expand this a little bit, make some space, and run the command again. Okay, the important things are here. We created one logical interface called port channel 1 out of the 2 physical interfaces. So the physical interface, we have 3 and 4, we created one logical interface. And this interface is switch, capital S, which if you look at the code here, or the flags, capital S says layer 2, which means you can have either channel layer 2 or layer 3. Up means up, so it's working, in use. And the protocol we're using is port aggregation protocol, Cisco proprietary. FA03, P bundled in port channel, and FA04, capital I, which stands for, if you look, is standalone. Right, so it's not bundled. Port 4 is not bundled. Okay, what we're going to do here, next thing is going to ask us to so verify the port have been aggregated. Okay, so if we wait there for a few more seconds, the port is going to go, it's going to be bundled as well. So both ports are bundled now. So number of channels in group in use 1, number of aggregators 1. So both the port 3 and port 4 have been bundled into one port or logical port. We can do the same commands. We can run it on switch 1, show EtherChannel summary. Okay, as you can see, both of the ports 3 and 4 are bundled into PAgP. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to configure trunks here. So these three ports are 3 trunks that we're going to create here. So trunking between 1 and 3, 1 and 2, and 2 and 3. I configure trunk ports. We did it early on, so we don't need to do it again. So we did it. So this is what we did trunking here. Verify the trunking is being configured. So show interface trunk. Okay. So port 1 and 2 is trunked. When you see 3 and 4 now, it's not showing as trunked. It's showing as one logical port. Right. It will be the same thing for the spanning tree. So show spanning tree VLAN 10, for example. We can see the spanning tree sees it as one logical port, as one port, even though in there's 2 physical ports. But the spanning tree is not going to block this for us. Okay. Next thing is configure the LACP between 1 and 2. So between switch 1 and 2, we're going to configure LACP. So if I go to switch 1, config and is a range interface, range FA01 and 2, and it will be channel group. Let's use channel group 2, and mode that we're going to use, well, now it's because it's LACP, we have a mode passive and auto. And if both sides are auto, it's not going to form the EtherChannel. So one side has to be passive. So let's use this passive. Done. And then I'll go to switch 2. I'll do the same thing. Interface, range FA01, 2, channel group 2, mode. Well, here, because we use passive, we can use passive. Now we can use auto, we can use active as well. So, active. Okay, so on one side, we use the passive. Let me just go back and check. Yep, passive. And the other side, we use it active. So it has to be, because these 2 protocols are not compatible with each other. So if you're using LACP, then LACP. If you're using PAgP, then PAgP. And if I go to switch 1, show EtherChannel summary, and you can see now I have 3 and 4 is PAgP for channel 1, and 1 and 2 is LACP for channel 2. Right, now I don't want to configure LACP again. Let's configure on. Let's see what happens between switch 2 and switch 3 and verify the connectivity. So if I go to switch 2, it's still between 2 and 3 is still physical interface. Show, for example, show spanning tree VLAN 10. You can see 3 and 4 on switch 2 is still physical, 3 and 4. So what we're going to do here, we're going to put on, right? Okay, so config interface range FA03 for channel group. Let's use channel group 3 here. Mode on. Okay. Now on the other side, when I go to switch 3 is port 1 and 2. On the switch 3, I need to make sure that it's on as well. So config interface range FA01 and 2, channel group 3, mode on. Okay, show EtherChannel summary. So you can see there's no protocol. There is just EtherChannel. That's it. But it's working. It's up. It's bundled into channel group 3. Okay. So what we did here, we did the LACP on this link, on this two links here, and then we did a PAgP on this link here. So let me just copy this. Up here we have PAgP. These are not mix and match. You can't mix and match. So if these two ports are bundled in LACP, if these two ports are bundled in LACP, they have to be both sides LACP. Both sides EtherChannel, 100 Mbps or half duplex, full duplex, whatever. They have to be exactly the same on both sides, and on the PAgP as well. Good. Okay. Now I'm going to show a demonstration. See, if I do it on this side, I'll put it on, and on this side I do PAgP. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I need to first show that. You can see this interface here has been created for channel 1, right? So where I want to stop is this 3. Okay, what I want to do, okay, leave this 3 and 4 on, and this side to be LACP 1 and 2. So on switch 3, 1 and 2 LACP. Let me just go to switch 3 first. On switch 3. So config no interface port channel 3, and interface range default interface range FA01 and 2. I just want to put them to default. Okay, so 1 and 2 is being put to default. That's why we have an native VLAN mismatch, because it's in default. So let's just go and copy the interface 1 and 2. So this commands. Okay, interface FA01 and 2 range. Okay, now let's restore everything. Show interface trunk. See, 1 and 2 is mode on. If I do show EtherChannel somewhere, I only have 3 and 4 summarized. 3 and 4 EtherChannel on the group PAgP, but the interface 1 and 2 is not. So on switch 2 here, these two are as on, right? So if I go to switch 2, do show EtherChannel summary. See, there's a problem here. Port 3 and port 2 is causing a problem. So let's go and configure EtherChannel as LACP on switch 3. It's causing a problem too. Config interface FA01 and 2 range that. Channel group 3 mode, what we said, LACP active. Okay. So it's not gonna work, right? So if I go to put show EtherChannel somewhere, it's fine because it's on. Yeah. Let's have a look at the switch 3. Show EtherChannel somewhere. This is down. So here is up because it's on anyway, but the other side is not. It's not working because it's down. Because in this side we are saying LACP, but in this side we are saying on, and that's the problem. On doesn't mix up with very well with any other. So VLAN 99 is slapping between port FA01 and 02. Okay, so there's a problem. EtherChannel, then it's gonna up. As you can see, there's a problem. To fix that, config the interface range FA01 2 channel group 3 mode active. Okay, show ether channel summary. Oh, I meant to do on. Config the interface range FA01 2 channel group 3 mode on. Okay, so first we have to disable it. That's why I did it earlier. I did delete that port channel, then revert him to default, and then create it. So if you make a mistake, you have to delete interface. So no interface port channel 3, and then default interface range FA01 and 2. Then I need to copy these two, 1 and 2. Config the interface range FA01 and 2. There we go. So that's why the VLAN mismatch is a problem, because I put the default. Now it should work. Okay, so now config the, it's being restored. So interface range FA01 and 2 channel group 3 mode on. Show ether channel somewhere, and you see now it's up because the mode of 2 and 3 matches both sides. It's on. Should delete that. I want to delete that. Okay, so this has been Astrid Krasniqi showing you or demonstrating how to configure EtherChannel, Cisco proprietary PAgP EtherChannel, and LACP protocol, open standard protocol. And then we configure just EtherChannel, right? None of the protocols. Thank you very much, and see you in the future videos.